Hey everybody, welcome to this week's live stream. Hope you're all doing good today. So we are gonna cast some raffle tickets today. I snagged these at the SoCal Turners Expo and we're gonna dunk it in some resin. So I'm super excited about it. It's gonna be fun. We actually did this a while ago after a Turners SWAT symposium. And we got some interesting results, but today what I'd like to do is make a bowl, as well as I'm debating right now, either trying to just kind of throw some in a pen mold, just a brick. I'm not sure how that'll turn out, or do some stoppers. And I'm thinking, I think we're going to go that way, the stopper route. We can kind of shove as many as we can in those tubes and then pour some resin in there. And that way, you're going to keep it intact. I'm probably going to, I guess, kind of make handles is actually a little bit more what I was thinking, or they could be cut up. So part of the reason that we're doing this actually is I want to make a little bit of a thank you present to Kate Harrow for setting up the SoCal Turners Expo. She put a really awesome show together, and those types of things, like, I don't know if you've ever set up a big event or been part of setting one up. It is a lot of work, a lot of stress. It's crazy, and well-deserved little gift kind of thing. And so I thought I'd make her a bowl, and then also send her some blanks, some handle blanks. So I think that's what we're gonna do. It should be pretty fun. I'm trying to think if there's anything else going on. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a recap of just a couple of cool highlights of the SoCal Turners Expo. But first, let's check out the results from last week. So we were making some, I want to redo my Think Pink blank. They're the breast cancer awareness themed blank. So pink and white. And so we got, this one was made with the raspberry pink from Caster's Choice, and this one's the fuchsia pink from P-Town Subby. And I wrote on this one, I kind of liked this one better. It's just a little bit more like in, I don't know, the pink spectrum. This one looks a little bit more kind of like strawberry red, it's actually a good name, raspberry red. It kind of looks like that to me. It's not a bad color. I think that for this blank, I kind of like this one better. So let me know what you guys think about these two. I still may kind of tweak the color a little bit. We'll just have to kind of see. And then one other thing, let's see here. In this one, this was the one where we put some micro starlight in with the white. And although, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see after I cut these up. I didn't have time to cut them up before I left, but we'll have to see. I'm seeing it. It's adding a little bit of sparkle in there, but I don't know if it's super worth, I don't know. Like I said, we'll have to kind of see how things look. I think I kind of like this better. It's a little bit more just pearly, a little bit more elegant. I don't know. So let me know what you guys think about those two, and I'll cut those up and we'll kind of see what the insides look like. That'll tell us a lot more, I think. Let's see here. And I noticed that Kim said I was using the wrong logo. Actually, Dunkin' Junk is the right logo. The wrong logo would be Envy Woodworks. That one has been retired, let's say. So I changed business names, but Dunkin' Junk is just what we call this. We're dunking stuff in resin and seeing what happens. That's what the experiment, kind of resin casting experiments, is called. I just kind of stopped using it for a little while, but I thought I'd bring it back. I think it's fun. That way people know, we're dunking some stuff, and it's going to be kind of crazy. You guys like the fuchsia too? Yeah, I know, Jim. We got to see what they look like at the end, but I can kind of tell that's a little bit more, that shade of pink in person is just a little bit more the route that I was kind of going. I could even go like a lighter pink. It's kind of hard to hit that in the mica powders, though. I haven't seen that. So I may search around. I know that Eye Candy's got a billion different colors. So I might actually search in their catalog and just see if there's any other pinks that I like maybe a little bit better. But yeah, we're still doing the Dunkin' Junk logo. Philip's here. How's it going? Who was here first? Kim snuck in. So we were going to do Jean's box of stuff. She had the golf tees, the little matchsticks or whatever. And what was the other thing? Oh, and the yarn bundle. That's what we were going to do today, but I got these tickets at the SoCal event, and I kind of want to get them done right away. I think that it's smarter to get those done since it's still kind of fresh. Like pushing it back like another week, like when's a good time to do it? Because I got things lined up for every week. I think it's a better idea to get this thing knocked out this week, get things rolling with it, and get the gift to Kate while it's still relevant. So the event went quite well. Now, I will say it was a little bit smaller than we were kind of hoping. And part of the thing is, and I didn't understand this until I got there. So originally this event was supposed to be in February. That's when she wants to do the SoCal event. The problem was there was COVID protocols, and really she kind of figured nobody's going to want to have to deal with masks at this event, so let's push it back. Well, the only dates that they had, this was her choices. Thanksgiving weekend, right? Or 4th of July weekend. So she picked that because if she, at that point she would have lost her deposit, which was, let me just say, extremely significant. Yeah, it would have been it was not there was no way that she was going to walk away from the down payment money. So that's why it was a little bit smaller this year, but it was a really awesome event. It just, there was people had plans on the 4th, so some of the vendors kind of, boned out on us, and then some of the people that I think would have come anyway, we missed out on some of the attendees. But overall, I mean, it was a really great event. It was actually pretty big, I would say. Honestly, it was a pretty big event, just a little bit smaller than we thought it was going to be. But it was really cool. So they had like demos, all kinds of really awesome demos, all day long, basically. And then they had like, you could pay for doing one-on-one classes. Like I know Jim Hines was doing master classes on kitless pen turning. There was these pretty big demos on a big stage. One thing that I didn't like particularly about this event was there was no like main stage where everybody was at. Like in the main hall. And I think what they did was they separated it out to kind of keep sawdust like contained in an area. But I think it's kind of fun when there's like a main stage, where people can do demos, where like the vendors and all that kind of stuff are. So hopefully next year it'll be like that. So just to let you guys know, I think what she's kind of tentatively planning right now, they want to go back to the February date. That's kind of I don't know, just out of all the times of the year, that's kind of a good one since, nobody else is really doing things. There's no other big events that she knows of. So I think what's going to end up happening is it's going to come back in 2024. It would be a pretty short turnaround to try and plan this thing for February next year. You got like half a year basically, which is kind of tough to plan a really big event like this. So I think 2024 it's coming back, at least tentatively. That's what I heard. So it was really fun though. I had a great time. There were some awesome vendors, all the people that we met that were out there. Lots of familiar faces, but also a lot of new faces that I got to meet. And like I said, the vendors were awesome. And so part of the thing with this ticket thing, all right, is these were actually given to me by Curtis Seebeck. And given that the attendance was down a little bit and some of the vendors boned out, he decided, and a few of the vendors, but he was definitely the biggest one. He decided that he wanted to help, support the event a little bit. And so he dropped $1,000 on tickets. And so there's a little bit of meaning behind this. It's not just, we grabbed some tickets. It's going to be kind of this fun thing. We thought it'd be fun. Curtis asked if I wanted to take these tickets home and do something with them. So like I said, we're going to make a bowl for Kate. It's going to be pretty sweet. And then we'll make some extra stuff because her whole family pitched in, and I mean, they all ran this event basically. So it was a pretty awesome Harrow event. Kate Harrow and her family. So anyway, should be pretty fun. AAW? Nah, I couldn't make it to AAW because we were going to this event. I thought it was a pretty good idea to go to this event. It's in my neck of the woods. So definitely I will be going to the SoCal thing, whenever, because we don't have things. We don't have events. Like, frankly, I couldn't afford to fly out to Tennessee anyway. Driving down to California, that's not too bad, but the plane flight to to Tennessee was a lot of money. So I wasn't going to do that. But let's see here. Yeah, the streams, they were okay. I actually forgot to put my microphone on the first one, so you couldn't hear anything that I was saying. Yeah, Gretchen did pretty good. So we had the mic on the second one. And then, so I did and I kind of screwed up the casting. So we did a faux burl and then recast it as a sphere blank. But Chad made a bunch of keychains. And we mounted a keychain on the burl piece that we made. And I think there was a ton of moisture in the wood. And so we got like just this foamy mess around the keychain. And I was like, ugh. It was a fun idea, but it kind of ruined the blank. So you always got to watch out. We didn't have an oven or anything like that with us. You always want to make sure that, you know, it's a good idea to flash off, you know, toss stuff that you're going to cast in the oven. Maybe even the burl itself, possibly, just because there's a little bit more humidity than I'm used to in Nevada. You know, in Southern California. So, you know, things can have, you know, moisture in them, but you can also have surface moisture. And the combination with Alumilite Clear Slow, moisture and Alumilite Clear Slow is not very fun. And it's going to give you little bubbles and stuff. And we had like little, you'll get some like kind of white flashing around there. That's a good indication that you got some moisture in there. And, and it's a whoopsie. It's a whoops-a-doodle. So one other thing that I got, a couple things. We'll go to this overhead view. So Joe hooked me up with some diamond painting drills that she's been saving, and she kind of put them together into these little combinations, these mixtures. So we got some kind of pink and purples. I love this kind of oceany look. That's pretty cool. And this one's totally fall. That was the first thing I thought of. Or Reese's Pieces, one of the two. So we'll save these guys. Big thank you to Joe for bringing these. We'll have some fun casting those things for sure. And the last thing, I got hooked up by Drop Anchor Creations. So Ed and Michelle were like, hey, we want you to take some of these blanks because we make some cool ones and we want you to have fun with them. So they gave me these things to let me pick blanks that I wanted. So I picked a Snoopy. They do tube in kind of casting and a lot of like labels, but they also mix a lot of stuff. So this one's a stamp with label, you know, like stickers on the outsides of it. And they, you know, you get certificates with these things. This one's Independence Hall, and I think it actually has a little piece of Independence Hall somehow attached. I need to look into this a little bit more and figure out where that is, but there's a little actual piece of the Independence Hall with that. This one is Elvis, and I think it also has a piece of Graceland somehow. So the wood, yeah, there's wood embedded in there from a tree on the Graceland property. So that's pretty sweet. My mom's a big Elvis fan. And then King's Cross Station with the Hogwarts Express. And there's actual wood on the ends of these guys with a label blank in the middle. So they were like, we want you to have some blanks. So what we'll probably do is one of the weeks, if I don't do a casting on Wednesday, we'll pull out some of these guys and turn them up. But a big thank you to Drop Anchor Creations. Then one thing, they also hooked me up with one of their, I forget what they had a name for these, and I thought it was logoed on here, but it's Drop Anchor Creations. But they have these little brushes to get rid of the shavings on when you're turning. I thought this was brilliant. It was so much fun. So we got to meet them. They're awesome people. Lots of great vendors out there. Everybody had a fun time. We all kind of hung out together. And then one other little announcement before we drop some tickets in. I want to give you a little bit of a quick sneak peek. I got my first mystery box from Turner's Warehouse, and so I learned a little bit more. So this is going to be really fun. We're going to be doing this. It's not going to be live. Okay, we're not doing this on the live stream. I'm going to be able to get better camera angles and make it a little bit more fun, I think, doing it like regular video style. From what I understand, there's actually instructions in here. So it's not just a box of stuff that I need to figure out what to do with it. There's actual instructions on how to proceed. So it's going to be really fun. I can't wait to start doing these things. I don't want to show you all the box because there's some really awesome artwork. You're going to have to wait till the video comes out. It should be coming out soon, in the next couple of weeks. I'll get on that. But like I said, I just think I can do a better production of, filming it, getting cameras in, and not having to only use, these cameras that I have set up, because they're just not really, as high quality as what I can get when I just do a normal video. I can get really good lighting, I can get really good angles, and I have all the time in the world to do a video. It's a little bit tougher to do this type of thing on a live stream with what I have. So I'm pretty excited about it, though. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with these mystery boxes, so be looking for those down the road. Let's see here. What's the best resin for a deep pour? A guitar. Well, Alumilite Clear Slow is great for it, but if I'm guessing you're talking about pouring like the entire guitar, I would use deep pour, or some sort of a deep pour type epoxy, because you're probably not going to get it in a pressure pot. So that's the thing. If you're doing a gigantic, let's say you wanted to cast something like a giant bowling ball or something like kind of crazy, but something like that will fit in the pressure pot, then I would probably just go with Alumilite Clear Slow in that case. But if you're doing something like a river table or something similar where there's no way you can't pressurize it, then what you want to do is use a very slow setting resin like deep pour from Alumilite. It's a really great resin. I really like it. But it was made, to do like 3-inch deep river tables. So you can pour a ton of it. It's got a 2-hour working time, so bubbles come out pretty easily. That's what I would probably go with if that's the type of thing that you're trying to make. All right, so let's get going on this. I got to take my watch off first. So I think first thing we'll do is we'll get the pipes going. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so let's do 4 pipes. I think we got plenty of tickets, okay? And again, these are going to be what I'm thinking is I'm just going to send Kate some blanks if she wants to make something with them. I thought that might not be a bad way to go. It'd be kind of fun. That way she gets to make something, not just have a bowl. And what I was also kind of thinking is that she can maybe make something for her family members and maybe even something for herself. So we'll do 4 of them. We'll get this camera going. We'll go with the double cam. So the first thing that I'm going to do is break open a new can of Stoner. Got a new can because we used up the Stoner I was pretty much almost empty on the last one. So I'm going to go off camera back behind here and spray my pipes. Get some mold release on these things so they come out when we when we demold them. Make sure you get it coated well. I spray from both ends of the pipe. Kind of twist it around. I know it's not on camera, but I don't want to move the cameras. All I'm doing is just spraying it. No big deal. One thing to note when you're spraying your mold release, make sure you're like aiming it. Either go outside, go out of the shop so it's just getting kind of blown away by the breeze. So you don't have to. I don't think that it's particularly dangerous to breathe it, but at the same time, I don't think that you really want to be huffing Stoner. That's a funny name. But my main thing is don't be spraying it towards stuff that you're going to cast. So I got this bag of tickets. I don't want Stoner all over my tickets, So if you can quickly just kind of walk out the door of your maybe garage shop or whatever, I think the best place to spray that stuff is just outside. For me, I don't really want to have to walk all the way across my shop and mess around and, during the live stream and all that. So I just kind of go in the corner and aim it away from stuff that I got sitting out, Connie's here. What's up? Okay, so we have 4 pipes right there. We'll move the bowl thing. So we got some tickets here. I'm going to separate these guys so we'll be able to get more in if they're separated. We're We're going to do a blue one. So it's pretty awesome. Like I said, the event was fabulous. We had a great time hanging out with everybody, meeting people. Let's see here. Actually, I need to think about this just a little bit here. Kind of folded those in on themselves. So I could break all these tickets off, you know, individually if I wanted to, but I don't know. Let's see what they look like if I do that. Ticket. That's not too bad for these pipes, actually. Yeah, I like that. Keep this coupon. There were some really good prizes at the event too. They gave away a 15, whatever, 24 or what, I'm not sure what the number is. One of the Lagunas. The one, it's a pretty good lathe. The 15, whatever. 24, is that right? 18. Trying to think what the other one is. 1836 is the next size up. So I think it's 1524. That's a pretty good lathe. Can you believe Curtis bought $1,000 worth of tickets and he didn't win the lathe? Crazy. All right, so we got one down. Nope, I didn't have a float, but I did have a milkshake at the Dodger game. I don't think they'll float. I think they'll become saturated and just kind of hang out. We'll see though, I don't know. That's why we do these experiments, to see what happens. Mark's here. No, you didn't miss anything. We're just casting some raffle tickets from the SoCal event. Pretty fun event. I had a good time. And then we got to go to a Dodger game on the 4th of July. It was so awesome. I haven't been to a Dodger game for so long, probably like 15 years. It was amazing. There was a home run. We won. So that's good in itself. We got to see Julio Urias pitch. He's awesome. Got to see Brustar Gratterall relieve. 101 mile an hour fastball. Let me tell you folks, 101 in person, even better than on TV. Just saying. Justin Turner RBI. It was great. We had awesome tickets too. We were like field level. It was great. That was probably one of my favoriteest days ever. Gretchen and I are pretty big baseball fans, so this summer we're planning to go and see a game. We want to go to different parks. Dodger Stadium's awesome, obviously, and I think we're going to start going once a year to a game down there. But we want to try and I'd like to go to every ballpark. Just catch a game, whether or not they're playing the Dodgers. Probably that would be really tough to swing. So just catch a game and just take in the sights and the foods at different stadiums. How cool would that be? And get to go on a little bit of a trip, do some vacationing. Baseball vacations. Thought that'd be kind of cool. Okay, so this is taking a little while. I don't think there should be any problems just dumping the resin over this, but we'll have to kind of see how it all works, The tickets may become kind of saturated and funky looking. That's one thing that I'm thinking there's a pretty high possibility that it's going to be kind of I don't know, like if you really wanted these things to be like super intact, you'd probably have to kind of, I don't know, seal them off somehow. But I can't think of a way to do that without it being like 3 years of you know, spraying every ticket with something or Mod Podging them all. I'm not interested in trying that. I think we'll just kind of dunk them and see what happens. Another way to do this is, and I've done this in the past, you can just wrap them around a tube and do a tube-in casting. That works really well, and it's easier to seal, and you're only using like a ticket, you know, one or, you know, a few. That's pretty easy to seal off, but you know, every one of these tickets, like I'm not gonna seal that. You guys know me and my patience. I don't have patience for that. Yeah, I know. That name, everybody messes that up. Yeah, we definitely want to, you know, go out and, I mean, like I said, honestly, I want to get to every stadium. You know, one thing that occurred to me, I don't know if Oakland is going to be, if the A's are going to be in Oakland much longer. So I'm a little bit torn because, I mean, honestly, I think I'd rather, there's a high chance that they may end up going to Vegas. So do we try to get in before they move? Because they're probably going somewhere, you know. There's a pretty high chance that the A's are not going to be in Oakland very much longer. So do we try and get there? Because that's actually pretty quick. It's right over the mountains from us. Or do we just wait and then go, you know, if they move to Vegas, let's go to Vegas instead. Or both. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. There's a lot of teams kind of out west here that, you know, we can nail them, get them taken care of. And then I have a feeling, you know, some of the like Midwest and East Coast teams, we're probably going to have to kind of, I don't know. I think we're probably going to have to do like a few at a time, like, you know, to just fly out to watch the Guardians play. I don't know about that kind of trip, you know, like I think we're going to have to do a few stadiums. We'll do like a Midwest kind of tour or something like that. I'll have to look at a map. I'm not totally familiar where all these ballparks are. I think, you know, I mean, just offhand, like, you know, you got Chicago's got 2 teams, but I think, isn't St. Louis kind of close to Chicago? Am I in the wrong? I don't know. I know the Western geography a lot better than everywhere else. I would go to both. Yeah, you can maybe spray the tickets. Lacquer's, I don't know about lacquer though. Lacquer's kind of a brittle, hard thing, and that may actually cause adhesion issues possibly. I don't know. Like on paper, Mod Podge is probably the best thing that I've used so far. It just seems to kind of work, you know, like that Pokemon card, that's what I used. It worked great, I think, if I remember correctly. Maybe not, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, Atlanta, could probably do like a Southeast tour. No clue about the sport. That's no problem. It's sort of similar to cricket, kinda. At least there's like, you swing at a ball. All right, so let me get my notebook out. So we're just gonna go for, I don't know, I think we'll go clear with micro starlight. I mean, that's just the simplest, easiest thing. I don't want to obscure the view of these things or do any of that kind of stuff. So July 6th. So number 1 is going to be handle. So the nice thing about this is you could, you know, these work for a handle blank as is, but you could also cut them up into stoppers. So if we leave them, you know, don't cut them up. These are 1.5 inch PVC pipes. And I'm trying to think, I think that maybe we're looking at like maybe 250 grams or something like that. At least for these ones. I don't know, 3, 6, 9, 12. Let's see. I probably have enough time to mix more up. Let's estimate 250 for each one of these things. So that'll be 1,000 grams I'm going to mix up. We're using Alumilite Clear slow set, so that's 500. It's a 1-to-1 mix ratio, and you want to do it by weight. So be very careful, because I talked to another person today that was like, I use Alumilite, but it's weird. It says that it's by volume. Alumilite Clear Slow. Make sure that you have to be very specific about the name. Alumilite Clear Slow is 1-to-1 by weight. You do not want to do it by volume. They have another one that is available at places like Michael's and Hobby Lobby called Amazing Clear Cast. That's different than Alumilite Clear Slow. It's Amazing Clear Cast, okay? And that one is by volume. You do not want to use weight. So whatever your jug is, even if you think you know what it is, make sure to read the instructions on the jug so that you know, and go by that. Don't go by, you know, anything else. Go by the instructions that are on the jugs for the resin that you have, okay? Just to make sure you don't have any issues. So we're just going with clear. And then we're going to do some micro starlight glitter. And that just adds a little bit of blingy, you know, a little bit of glitter. They're super, super small little glitter particles. It's just a little, oh, camera's shaking. A little holographic glitter to make things just blingy in there. Add a little bit of sparkle. Just a little bit, though. Just a little bit. Okay? So let me get a bucket over here. I typically recommend for things that are clear cast, I usually recommend using a brand new stir pot, stirring thing. But I think in this case it's going to be all right because a lot of it's going to be obscured by tickets and things. But the reason is you may have little chunks of resin or other dyed stuff that if it's dead clear that you're going for, you don't want to mix that stuff in. But I think in this case we'll be okay. I don't think we're going to get anything noticeable in there on these guys because there's other stuff going in there. All right, so I've zeroed my scale out. I think I'm going to have to refill my jugs before we get to the bowl. I'm going to put 500 grams of part A. Okay, a little tiny bit over, 500.2. I'm actually going to add a little extra part B in this case. That's just a little trick. If you're going for clear, just to make sure that things kind of work out a little bit better. Only for this specific resin, not for any epoxy, not for any other resin. Just Alumilite Clear Slow. I'm going to go 502 with the part B. Okay, it's just a little tip. What can happen is if there's, if it's a little bit off, basically, or if there's a little bit of kind of moisture, this stuff could have a little bit of blushing, which is like a white kind of haze. That only happens, this only matters if it's clear or transparent. Generally, it's for smaller amounts too, but it's not going to throw off the ratio to the point where it's going to cause any issues to put 2 more grams of part B in with this much resin. I'm going to do it, but just be careful. Like I said, it only works with this resin specifically. Disclaimers, disclaimers. Oh, went over a little bit higher. even still, I'm not that worried about it because we got 1,000 grams. So we went to 504. That's not going to harm anything either. Where you don't want to be way off with stuff is if you're only mixing up 20 grams of resin, you don't want to be off a gram, or two. Then it's going to cause problems. It's curing issues because the ratio is going to be thrown way off. 2 grams out of 1,000, not a big deal. We'll be okay. All right, so I'm mixing the sides, scraping the sides and the bottom of this thing. I'm gonna mix this up real well. Then we're gonna add our micro starlight glitter, just a little bit. We don't want to add much. I just want a little bit. The thing is, these particles are so small that you really don't need to add a lot for it to kind of be seen throughout the blank. And a tiny bit goes a long way. You watched 4 of them and didn't sleep? Oh man. Jeez. Well, that's cool though. I'm glad that I was able to keep you occupied. That's a long flight. Okay, so that should be pretty good. And then I'm just going to add, it's really not going to be much. I'm just going to add a little scoop. Okay, you guys see how much that is? It's really not much. It might have even been more than I really needed. We'll mix that in. This stuff stays suspended nice. Yeah, just a little bit of sparkle in there. I don't know if you guys can really even see it, but... Okay. Kind of hard to see, but just shimmers. Just a little bit of speckle shimmer. Just keep on stirring it here just a little bit more, just to make sure we don't have any. What happens is if you miss a little blob of it somewhere on the edge, and you dump it into your mold, you can have a little liquid particle that never cures in the middle, and it's just ugly, and it's gooey. So make sure we get all this stuff. You can even scrape the side, your stick off the side. Just make sure you've gotten all the part A and part B mixed up. Okay, let's give it a whirl and see what happens. What do you guys think? You guys got the thing in the way there. Get this micro starlight out of here. We'll probably put some in the bowl too, but might even put some swirls, some color in there. I don't know. We'll have to see. It's not the most convenient jug to pour out of. Just saying. All right, we got one down. Two down. I'm going to push those down in a little further. I'll set those aside for now. Bring these guys back in close. I'm not going to fill these all the way up. I'm going to try and get these 4 blanks about kind of similar height. That was probably even higher than, yeah, that's even higher than that one is. I think we should have enough resin here, hopefully. Oh, those things dropped. That's actually about the right height, though. Oh. Okay, so now we got them full. I'm just going to top them off now since we have extra resin. Wanted to make sure that we weren't shorting it. I wasn't sure how much resin. I could have done the calculation and all that, but I just figured we'll wing it. If I need more, I'll mix more up. We got plenty of time. And if there's too much, happy fun cup. Now, even with these things, you know, there could even be a little bit of moisture in these. So hopefully that's not the case. But I did not dry these or anything. But, you know, just for safety, or, you know, like just to be careful, wouldn't be a bad idea to hit them. Somebody actually mentioned you could maybe use a hair dryer to dry things like this out. That would be kind of neat. That's a smart idea. I think let's put these guys in the new pot. I'm going to switch to this intro view. You can kind of see what I'm doing. There we go. And I think I'm going to, let's see how these things look. Yeah, these will be fine. I'm going to kind of bundle them together so that they kind of support each other a little bit. I could have put my little the little white disc in the bottom to kind of flatten. But it's really not that bad if you put them all together. I'm not that worried about them going anywhere. But you do want to be careful and not be spinning this thing, because you could knock over the pipes if you don't have them kind of secured. So just be kind of aware of that a little bit, you know. And of course, this pot, I'm super, super thrilled. So again, Chad brought a different pot. I didn't bring mine. He was bringing, you know, ones to sell anyway. So I was like, well, why am I, you know, there's no reason for me to bring this one to the event down there. But once again, we literally pulled one of these pots out of the box. We actually didn't even set the regulator up. And it was dead perfect, holding, you know, perfect seal, straight out of the box. We didn't even like test it. I love these things. This is a great product. I'm just trying to be careful so it doesn't spin or anything, because this thing isn't even locked down. It's just on these feet, which is great. You don't even have to actually anchor it to the desk. But in this case, I don't want, it can, you know, move a little bit, and I was just trying to keep it, you know, keep it in line. Don't get out of hand, buddy. All right, so this is going to go up to 60 psi. Plenty of pressure. Really not much advantage, or there's really no advantage to going higher than that for any reason. And they say the working psi on this pot is 60. Sounds good. No need to go higher than that. I'm going to switch to this view, and we got a little bit left in here that I think we'll be good. Just kind of dumping this in. A happy fun cup. It's always good to have a happy fun cup of some sort, or a mold that you can pour any extra resin in. Then you got yourself a fun blank to do. Now, I would recommend, if you're using Alumilite Clear Slow, good idea would be to also pressurize your happy fun cup. But I always forget, and I don't have spare pressure pots to to put it in afterwards. So I like to clean my stick off and reuse it. These sticks are just HDPE. I want to say that it's either 3/32. I think it's actually 1/8. 1/8 inch thick. You can just buy kind of a sheet of it and cut them into little strips, and you got yourself stir sticks that are non-stick. I like to just hit it with a little bit of, either denatured alcohol or acetone. Make sure we've gotten all the resin off and it's not sticky. Put it back in the thing and we're good to go for the next one. Okay. Yeah, those are all PVC pipes. So I have some that are clear, which can be useful. It wasn't particularly necessary in this case, but you guys could see, what's going on in there a little bit. The clear stuff is quite a bit more expensive though, so I would recommend for most things, unless there's some advantage to seeing inside. There's no real big advantage to having clear ones necessarily, other than being able to see stuff. But like I said, the price difference is pretty significant. But I do have links to that on my tools I use page on my website. There's a link down to that down in the description, but I'll just get you guys a link real quick for anybody that's looking for stuff. And it's broken up into categories, so those pipes are under the resin casting category. Yeah, did I say HDPE? The stick is HDPE. These sticks are. Okay. So, yeah, actually, I think we do. I think I'm going to go and fill up the jugs. I don't think that we have enough resin. I was trying to do this before we started, but did not have enough time. So let's see here. I'm going to be kind of over here. Just the tough thing is I'm at the bottom of a couple of these jugs, so they tend to take longer to fill. So I don't know if you guys can see. Not really. So I buy the 80-pound kits and then just refill these gallon jugs. Much cheaper to buy it if you're going to go through it, to buy the 80-pound kit. What I do though is, I'm at the bottom of these jugs now. I'm about to empty this one. So what I do is I use these gallon jugs that I usually see me pouring out of. Really hope I put that in the right one. Yeah, A. That would have sucked. I would have poured the B in. When I go through one of these 80-pound kits, these big carboys, I go in and actually clean out the gallon jugs. All right, I wash them with acetone, shake them up, and just make sure that I clean things out. After a while, what ends up happening is the hardener for these resins a lot of times can kind of crust up or crystallize a little bit, and then it can kind of build up in the bottom of your jug. And I don't know, it seems like not the greatest thing ever to have that happen, right? So I like to clean these things out. Like I said, after every 80-pound kit, after I go through every 80-pound kit, that's a good enough time frame, I think. I never have any issues with, stuff building up in the bottom of it. I mean, even, the B, like I said, it kind of crystallizes, and that's the same for epoxies. Urethanes, doesn't really matter. They all kind of do the same thing. But but it even makes, you know, the caps and all that kind of stuff a little bit sticky. So you can imagine that, you know, after a while, some stuff kind of crusts up in there, and, you know, I like to clean that out. Fill it with a bunch of acetone and shake it around, and you're good to go. The B is also kind of thicker and slower to fill, so I may kind of give up early on this one. We need to get more resin so that we have enough for that bowl, though. Gotta have enough resin for the bowl, you know what I mean? All right, I'm gonna kind of give in on the B. I'm gonna fill from. I have the new one open already, and I think that I'm just gonna fill with that because it's gonna go a lot faster. Did anybody do anything cool for the 4th of July? Any fun plans? Any good foods? I'm kind of guessing how many people had barbecue on the 4th? I'm just guessing, but I'm thinking there was probably a little bit of barbecue happening. I pretty much made myself sick. I wanted to sample the cuisine at Dodger Stadium, so I had 3 Dodger dogs, a cheeseburger, some tacos, a milkshake. I was sick later. Wasn't the best idea. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Paid for it later. Just gonna top off. I didn't really make it too far with the part A either. Sorry for the delay, guys. We'll get there soon here. We had a pretty good drive down to Southern California too. The traffic, it was kind of crazy. I don't know. I expected traffic on Tuesday to be kind of horrible, and there was like nobody on the road as far as at least compared to what I expected it to be like. Where did the part B cap go? Oh, in the fridge. Yeah, so we had a smooth drive home yesterday. A little bit of traffic going down, but we kind of caught, we were getting into like Southern California at like 5 o'clock, so wasn't really that surprised that, but the rest of it was pretty smooth. Reasonable trek. Okay, so I need another bucket. Where's all my buckets? There's a bucket. Oh, it's pretty thrash. That's pretty good. Tim bought a pressure pot and what did you buy? Hold on, where'd that go? Pressure pot and a mini lathe. That's sweet. Smoked a brisket. Nice. Nice. Let's see here. Let me. Okay. Yeah, nice to meet you too. Welcome to the stream. All right, so let's see here. I think we're ready now. So we got a bag full of tickets. We got a bowl, and we're gonna make a bowl blank. So one thing you can do with bowl blanks is, put something in the middle to kind of take up space, because we're gonna be, turning away the outsides, basically, a bowl, right? The inside is just gonna be wasted, and so a lot of people put like a waste block of wood in there, or a cup or something like that, and that's fine. But you kind of have to do a little bit of figuring out stuff, right? Because if you put that waste block too far in, then you're going to have that waste block in the bottom of your blank, and you might need to kind of hold up the cup. It may want to float. There's lots of things, right? So it just kind of complicates things, and frankly I just don't want to deal with it. A little bit of wasted resin is a little bit easier for me to deal with. The other issue is if you put wood in there and it's not stabilized, sealed, or fully dried out, then you're going to get a reaction with Alumilite Clear Slow. So for me, it's easier just to pour the whole thing. Then I have a flat, flat top surface. All you got to do is drill a hole, and then you can just mount it on your chuck with a worm screw, and you're good to go. You get the outside done, put a tenon or I call it an innie or an outie, tenon or a spigot on the bottom, and then flip it, and you're done, and start hollowing it out. So like I said, I don't really have that big of a problem wasting a little bit of resin. I don't really think it's that much money compared to the issues that you could have if something goes wrong with a waste block of wood. To me, it's kind of worth it personally, but it's up to you. There are ways to save a little bit of cash on the amount of resin that you're dumping in here if you take up that space with something. All right, but I'm not going to be doing that today because, like I said, easier for me just to not worry about it. So I have absolutely no clue how much resin this thing takes. Let's see, what did we make a bowl out of with these things? Just trying to remember. I did use it for something. I don't even remember the last bowl that oh, I remember. Now I do. Hold on real quick. I'm going to look something up because I think I can get this dimension nailed down, or I mean the amount nailed down without having to do a bunch of calculations. Now you can go to Alumilite's website, and they have a thing where you can, it's like a volume calculator, and they have one for square, or rectangles, and one for like cylinder type things. And I could do that, but I've already done the calculation, and I already had the answers. I already have have the answers to what I need anyway. So I'm just going to look this up. And yep. So we're looking at maybe like 2,000 grams, 2,300. What else was I thinking about putting in here? Those things probably won't float. No, they definitely won't float. Let's see. Another thing we could do is put a little bit of like bigger glitter pieces. That would be kind of fun. What we got in here? Oh, we got red, white, and blue. Sweet. We got some red, white, and blue glitter. We're going to add that too. Okay, so we're going to just estimate about 2,000 grams. It may not fill this thing or whatever, but it's going to be pretty close. And then we'll do our tickets, and then we're also going to mix in some red, white, and blue tinsel glitter. I think they call this something else now. Sprinkle glitter is what this is, but whatever. It's red, white, and blue. Should be pretty sweet. Yeah, I thought half of California moved out. I know. It is kind of crazy how many people are moving away from California. Yeah, waste, the problem is the waste stuff, a lot of times it just kind of disappears if you try and do that. So, if you're going to try and make, like recast waste shavings, what I recommend is put like heavy dye coloring in it. Like that would be good and it'll show up. Clear is just going to disappear. I mean, I guess you could, technically you could take up space with it, but maybe. Usually I'm going for something for it to like add something to the blank though. I don't know if it's going to be so awesome to just dump those in. I guess you could though. I usually just toss them. Got to be honest. What I think is really fun is actually wood bowl shavings. Like if you turn green bowls, those shavings are so fun to play with. You can even dye those. You can get some really cool looking stuff. All right, so let's get the cameras set up right there. Let's go with the double cam for now. Why not? So number 2, bowl. I don't know how big this one is. I'm just going to call it Sure Fresh. I like to write down what fresh. I forgot to do that. Slow side. I like to write down what mold I used, what resin I used, all that kind of good stuff. Now, pouring this much, like, I don't even know. You might have to be a little careful even with deep pour, possibly. It's kind of thick. A little bit thick for that, maybe. So this is a good one for Luminolite Clear Slow, I think. So that's the direction I would go for something like this. Another one that can be poured in like a really big mass that claims that is, shoot, what is I can't think of the name of it's an epoxy brand. Oh, I almost had it. It's the one that Nick Zametti uses now. Entropy resins. They're I think it's CCR Slow. That stuff can be poured in a 9-inch cube size. And it's a pretty good resin. I've tried it myself. It doesn't really do anything that Luminolite Clear Slow, doesn't do. So necessarily. So I don't really use it for anything, but it's a pretty decent one. I've tried it. All right, so we're gonna go with 2,000 grams. Again, 1,000 times 2. Plus, we're gonna add red, white, and blue. Sprinkle glitter. I don't know how that's gonna turn out, but we'll try it. We'll try it anyway, Okay, so are you guys ready for this? This is going to be a pretty big pour. It's going to be a big one. I should really move this camera down. There. Really no reason to be any further out, I don't think. A little crooked now. Sorry about that. I can't fix it. I'm looking at this thing backwards. It's weird. Okay, so let's get our resin out. 1,000 grams of Part A. Let me get some little whatchamacallits here. I don't actually live in Lake Tahoe. It's pretty cold in that lake. Now I live down in the valley below. I live in a town called Gardnerville. Our claim to fame is there's more cows than people. And the shop is in Carson City, the capital. So we're just below. It's about 20 minutes to Tahoe, though. All right, so 1,000 grams, part A. $900. 80. We're getting close. 998. 99. Close enough. Okay. I don't know if this I don't think this bucket's gonna hold 1,000 more grams. So it's gonna be really close. Yeah. I think I'm just gonna, I should have got a bigger bucket. So I'm gonna dump 500 into this other one right now. I'm gonna have to mix two things, but that's fine. It'll be a lot easier to mix. You can mix it faster. So I'm just dumping half of the part A into another bucket so that I don't have to, that's not like to the brim. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to zero this guy out, put 500 of part B in this one. Okay. I'm going to put 500 in this one. Okay. I'm going to wipe off this jug really good. Otherwise you can get a cap to kind of stick, and I don't like that. Makes it a pain, you know? You visited the Ponderosa, nice. Yeah, I'm in Nevada. I don't think I could handle the taxes and regulations and living in California and the cost. Although it's pretty darn expensive here now, so we can't afford a house. There's no way. All right, so let's mix these guys up. Yeah, Las Vegas to be a beach town. Yeah, it'd be nice to live up in Tahoe. I like the temperature up there, and I like snowboarding and all that stuff, but it's actually quite nice living down in the valley because we don't have to shovel as much as people that live up in Tahoe do, which is quite nice. Frankly, we don't shovel it. Well, I have to shovel the shop because it faces north, which was brilliant. I would not have picked a shop with a north-facing thing. But so I have to shovel here, but we don't have to shovel at our house. The driveway's dirt and like, you know, gravel, and so We just plow through it. I like it. Oh yeah, yep, the Truckee. I actually have never seen that, because that's like pretty far north from us. You know, I don't really go to Reno unless I have to, or definitely don't go up to like the north side of Tahoe very often. Truckee, the city is actually really awesome too. That's up on the north side. There's so many cool things up around here. The hiking, the biking, the snowboarding, if you have power toys, off-roading stuff. Good place to live, or a snowmobile, cross-country, skiing. There's a little bit for everybody, If you got a boat, oh man, lots of lakes. Tahoe's a bit cold, but it is nice up there. So if you're ever in the area, make sure to check out Lake Tahoe, because I gotta be honest, it's probably one of my favoriteest places on earth. So I'm just gonna give this another round just to make sure everything's all mixed up. Like I said, kind of hard to see in this bucket a little bit, if there's anything I missed. So we're gonna just go with time and double my efforts to make sure that I've gotten it. And the cool thing about living here is, like, it's year round. Like, it doesn't really matter when you come, there's something to do, If you come in the winter, then, obviously you're going to want winter sports and things like that. But the spring and fall is just, it's just absolutely perfect weather usually, It could get a little chilly here and there, but bring a jacket, you're good, And then in the summer, you got all kinds of really cool stuff to do in the summer. So it's a year-round cool thing. Like I used to live in Vegas, and I'm sorry, Vegas is a pretty cool thing, to come and visit. But man, those summers get so hot. It just tourists come and as long as you're at the pool all day, fine. But living there, oof. Pretty hot in the summer. Same with Phoenix. That area, just kind of miserable. Whereas, then the other 3/4 of the year are perfect weather. I don't know. Lots of good golfing too, if you like golf. There's some pretty good golf courses around here. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna this time we're just gonna shove these things in there and they're gonna be all funky. But I'm gonna kind of keep compressing them. We're going for modern art here, Let's get some more red ones. We want some more red ones. And again, you got to think about how this is going to be. The middle is not particularly important. I can really just kind of wrap these things around more, the outside. A little bit, anyway. It's kind of hard to get it to do what you want, but... Okay, so let's start pouring some in here. Can you guys see? Yeah, you can kind of see. Sort of. it'll probably kind of sink a little bit, you know, as we pour liquid on here. That's what I'm kind of actually hoping for. Now, again, keep in mind, 2,000 grams is a ton of resin. There are very few resins that you are actually going to get this to not completely turn into a failure with. The one I recommend is Alumilite Clear Slow. It works great. You know, but like I said, that Entropy resins, they're CCR slow. That stuff has a pretty high tolerance to, you know, to doing large pours with. Offhand, I don't really know of any others that can really handle like a huge giant mass like this, because like Alumilite's deep pour, that's kind of made to be poured, you know, up to like maybe, I don't know, 3 inches or so, and it can handle, you know, a large amount all at once, like a river table, but it really can't handle like a big mass. And I found that out really quick when I did that Millennium Falcon burl sphere that I was trying to do. It just ended in failure. I thought it could handle something, you know, a little bit more along the lines of like what Alumilite Clear Slow can handle, but it really can't. I mean, it's very difficult to find resins that are meant to be poured or that can handle being poured in gigantic amounts, which you know, like I'm going to call at this point, like if you're trying to make something the size of like a bowling ball, that is gigantic for resins. Most things can only handle, you know, maybe up to a couple inches or something like that. So, but with the Alumilite Clear Slow, you have to pressurize it, you know. That's kind of the, let's call it maybe the drawback, the caveat. Nice, 2,000 grams, perfect. Just gonna try and get some more of this glitter out of the bottom of our cups here. One thing I was saying is be careful also about, you know, we're mixing up 2,000 grams here, and so it's going to heat up quicker, and you're going to have a little bit less working time. Now, it's 79 degrees in the shop on top of all that, so that just adds, you know, it's all of these factors. The hotter it is, the more it is. All these things are going to shorten the working time a good amount too. You know, like you'll notice. Definitely don't have as much working time. It's starting to heat up and get kind of really hot quick. So just be aware of that. Be kind of careful. Know that you're going to have less time. Okay, I think that's good. I think we're good, guys. I think we're good. Okay. Now I need to wipe my hands off here and switch camera views. I need like the clapper. Switch camera views. Amy's here. What's up? Okay, so we'll go to this one and then we'll like that. We're gonna put it in this pot. One of the nice things about this bowl mold thing is it has a little lip, which makes it super easy to get this thing dropped into my pressure pot. One tip, always make sure to do a little bit of a dry run before you Or like, oh, let me mix up 3 billion grams of resin and do all this stuff, and then you realize that the bowl mold doesn't like fit in your pot, or you can't get your hands in there also or something, you know. So if you haven't used the mold before, do a dry run just so you know what you're looking for. And it's always good to do that without resin setting up on you, you know, in your mold. In some cases, you may have to call an audible. You know, like if I couldn't get it in this pot, I'd have to pull my 5-gallon out, which wouldn't be a big deal necessarily, but you know, you're better off knowing which pot to pull out ahead of time, rather than while resin is setting up on you. That's the worst. I've had a few of those too. And even after I knew, you know, like you kind of forget. So it's always good to have a little reminder, you know, to double check to make sure that everything's good to go on, you know, how things are going to work once you've gotten your resin into the mold. I had one time, I was using a Harbor Freight pressure pot, and it's like the same size. It's like 9 inches diameter, and I made this. It was a square mold, but I made it out of melamine wood. You know, like the particle board with melamine covering it. And I was using, all I had was 3/4 inch melamine, so it was huge. And like the inner dimensions, I knew would work fine. I had a bunch of other molds that were, you know, like made out of 1/2 inch material. Didn't even think about it, and I'm like, okay. So I had thought that, oh well, this mold should fit, right? And so I get everything ready, and I go to put it in there, and like there's nothing I can do. It's not going to fit, you know. So I actually took the mold with the resin in it over to my disc sander and shaved the corners, because it would fit if I like sanded it down basically. And so with resin in it, I'm sanding it. Oh, it was a nightmare. Terrible idea. I actually got it in there. I don't think I failed that casting, but it was pretty sketchy, guys. Pretty sketchy. So let's see here. None for the fun cup. No, I went a little low. I knew I wasn't going to fill that thing. Sorry about that. Let's see here. Man, I missed a lot of stuff. Okay. Vegas is built from losers' money. Kind of. A little bit, yeah. Dave Porter made it. How's it going? Yeah, Mike McEwen remembers the SWAT tickets. A little bit different this time. I don't think we did a bowl or anything, did we? I think it was all just like pen blanks and stuff. We did those. I actually shredded some, and that was kind of interesting, but you couldn't tell what it was. But it worked for a pen blank. And then I did one where I like mounted it on the tube itself, or a couple tickets, and just like glued it onto the tube. That was okay too. Not bad. Yeah, we had a blast out there in Southern California. I still have a ton of tickets left too. I don't know if I'm going to be making tons and tons of other things with tickets, but like I said, I wanted to make something for Kate. I don't think she's watching or anything. I think it's still going to be a surprise. But you know, we wanted to get her something to kind of thank her for all the hard work that she and her family put in setting up that event, and it was a really good event. So we got, if you kind of just join the. Good Lord, what's wrong with my throat's dry? We get back into this dry climate and I can't even talk. It was so nice and humid there. Usually I hate humidity, but like in this case, it wasn't like overly humid and hot, just enough, and everything was great. But anyway, so if you're just joining the fun, in this pot, behind door number 1, we did some like 2 or 1.5 inch like handle size blanks, and just kind of shoved a bunch of tickets in there. And I was thinking I'm going to send those as blanks to Kate. That way if she wants to turn something, she can. And I was thinking that she could maybe make something for her family. I know that kind of like drops responsibility for someone else in her lap, but I thought it'd be kind of cool. I don't know. I'm trying to mix these things. I thought it'd be cool to send her blanks if she wanted to turn one. And then for the bowl, that's for her. And so we'll be turning the bowl, probably just turn the bowl on Saturday, I'm guessing. I don't see why we wouldn't, you know. So we'll turn that up and kind of hopefully get that thing done and ready, and then we'll get that sent to her in a timely fashion. So it should be kind of fun. I'm excited. I know they really did work hard, and she did, you know, she did on the first one as well. You know, event planning is really tough, and it's not like, you know, I mean, they had help outside, but I mean, it was really the Harrow family put that thing on completely. And, you know, when people talk and compare, you know, like SWAT, I mean, there's like 100 people putting that event on. Of course, it's going to be, you know, good. And they've been doing it for what, 50 years or something, you know? So second year in a row with a COVID pandemic in the middle. I thought it was a really awesome event. So I can't wait for the next one. Hopefully they will do it again. Like I said, did I mention it at the beginning? From what I heard, we were asking her about it, and I think what she's penciling in, so tentatively right now, I think that she's thinking about doing 2024 as the next one. And she would do it next year, but the problem is they want to do it in February. And so if you missed the discussion, I didn't realize why they picked the 4th of July weekend. And it was because there was COVID restrictions, and a ton of people were not going to be putting up with that if they kept it in February. And so they wanted to change the dates. The only options were Thanksgiving weekend or 4th of July weekend, or, you know, you lose a ton of money, like you're walking away from a ton of money. And so she picked the 4th of July, and it was just what she could go with, basically. So, but, you know, now we're in like July, and so, I mean, I'm sure she's not going to start planning another thing until probably like next month. She probably wants a break. But to get it, you know, fully set up for February next year would be really kind of pushing it, you know. So I think she's going to take like about a year and a half and really put together an awesome event for 2024. That's the scuttlebutt tentatively right now. We'll keep you up to date though on all that stuff. So anyway, guys, I don't think there's any other questions. So I think we'll probably wrap things up. 4:30. My throat is really dry. Or maybe I just talk too much. I've heard that before. So anyway, guys, I hope you had a great 4th of July. Hope you had some good food. We had so much fun. It was such a great weekend, and then we capped the whole thing off with that Dodger game, and it was just, oh my God. That was just amazing. So we had a great time. Like I said, hopefully you guys did too. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to probably turn the bowl on Saturday. Kim. So yeah, we'll get that thing ready. And like I said, I'm going to save those other blanks and send them down to her in blank form, and she can do whatever she wants with them. So anyway, thank you guys all for joining the fun tonight. And if you were down in Southern California at the SoCal Turners Expo, it was great hanging out with all you guys. It was really great meeting some people. Like I said, there was new faces and old faces from the last event. So it was really cool meeting new people and hanging out with people that I already knew. So anyway, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the evening. We'll turn this bowl up on Saturday. So we'll see it Saturday at noon Pacific time. And I think that's about it. So have a great evening, and I'll see you guys on the next stream.